she woke me up and she's just like, hey, get up. And I was just like, oh, what happened? My older sister came in the room and she told me, she goes, oh, mom and dad just got deported. And I was like, what do you mean? Are they coming back? Like, I was confused. And she's like, we don't know yet.
Immigration has been one of the biggest controversies in the last couple of years. Many families are being broken apart due to deportation of a family member. Oftentimes, it's the parents who get deported, leaving their U.S. citizen-born children alone in America with other family members or friends. According to American Immigration Council, 6 million children who are citizens under the age of 18 live with a parent or family member who is undocumented. It also stated that 500,000 U.S. citizen-born children experience deportation of at least one parent in the course of 2 years. This has a great effect on them, forcing them to face life alone at a young age. So I traveled back to my hometown in Bakersfield, California to interview a U.S. citizen who had experienced the deportation of her parents at a young age.
My name is Barbara Quiroz. I was born here in Bakersfield, California. Background, my mom and dad were born in Mexicali. My dad's parents were born in Michoacan, and my mom's parents were also born in Mexicali. They came here in Bakersfield. The reason why was because my dad's sisters were already like here. So they're like, hey, everybody just come to Bakersfield. So they just kind of followed that route. When they were deported, it was like back in 2008. I was 13 years old. I was in 8th grade. When it first happened, it was about like 5:30 in the morning. All I heard, like I was sleeping, and I just heard voices, and it was my aunt's voice, and I didn't really know what was going on. You know, they just came in, and I guess when they had caught them, I guess my dad was outside walking her dog, and he's like, "Hey, can we come in?" And he didn't really know what was going on either. He didn't know who, like they didn't like who they were, but they ended up coming in the house, and they're like, "Where's Claudia?" Like that's my mom's name, Claudia. And they're like, oh, she's sleeping. They told that to my older sister. And they're like, well, can you show me where she's at? And my sister was like, what the heck? Like, she was confused. Like, why are these men coming in my house saying, where's my mom? And on top of it, like, she was trying to walk, into the room, and they followed her and basically told her that you need to get up and you need to go into the living room, and basically saying that she's going to be deported. I stayed with a lot of family members. I stayed with my aunts, cousins. I even stayed with friends. I believe I lived in 10 different households since I was 13. I'm 23 right now. I lived with, like I said, families, friends, cousins. Like sometimes, like barely friends that I really knew, and it was tough. It made me feel like alone. It made me feel like I went through a lot of depression, and I don't know, like you feel like. You go into a home and you see your family, you see a family, and you're like, and I wish I had that, And then you go to another one, and it's like you don't feel treated the same. You're always going to obviously treat your daughter a certain way than somebody that just kind of walked in. Who knows, Maybe if you're just more of a genuine person. But I always felt like I was alone. I always felt like I wasn't treated, I was always treated differently in, people's homes, and maybe not treated so nicely, and it was hard, you just go through it and try to make yourself stronger in every situation, and, just try to be there for yourself. If you feel like nobody's going to be there for you, you're going to be there for yourself. So I just kind of continued. It was like a pattern, a pattern with every situation, but, you just get through it. I have 4 sisters. With them, in the beginning, it was kind of like we were like very separated, and I think we all had we ran through a lot of emotions. Like I think we all went through some kind of depression and held anger within us, and maybe projected it on the other person. So sometimes we didn't know how to cope with it. We would fight and be angry at each other, But now I just feel like over the years, we got a lot stronger because we kind of overpassed that, and now what, we went through it. We're done. We got stronger. Let's just keep being that way. More like a family, we were separated, but I feel like we just got more together now. My experience growing up, it was hard. I think too that I did a lot of sports, and a lot of the parents would come and watch, their kids, and they would go and support them and cheer them on. And sometimes we had like athletes night or like a senior night, and then they would bring their parents. And sometimes I didn't have anybody by my side, so I would just go up and by myself. So it was hard. I'm not going to lie. I had some friends and support here that would get me by, but sometimes you kind of get in your own head and you go back to, like, man, I wish my family was here, but it was hard. It was just more like a depressing moment, I think, growing up my teenage years, just not having them. But I kind of pushed through it just by, good family members and friends. But everything kind of worked out. I always told myself, like, do good for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, show them, like, you know what, you're not just like anybody. Like, you're somebody. So I would try to do good in school, in sports, and still doing it now. Now that I'm trying to go more into business and trying to create something of myself. So, and I don't want to let that hold me back. Honestly, there were some times I felt like I would say I would categorize myself as homeless. There was times where I didn't know where I was going, even though I lived like from place to place. Like there's times where they'd just be like, no, we don't even want to live with you. Like they would just kind of start things. But and it was kind of just different. Like I feel like people like would say like, hey, genuinely say, hey, I want to help you, but they didn't really want to help. They would get like a fixed kind of like income because they were taking care of me. So I always felt like that's the only reason they did it. But so like I would leave. Like I would just like say I'm packing my stuff and I'm leaving. So there's times where I would just be in my car and like I didn't really have places to go. And then I would talk to friends and some families like, well, you can come here. But it was kind of like I said, the same cycle. It would just happen and happen because, like I said, sometimes it's very hard to find a genuine person that really wants to help you. So I think like for a long time, like I said, I lived by myself and kind of stuck it out. Like I said, I lived with a lot of people. I lived sometimes in my car. Like it was hard, but we get through it. I feel like I found jiu-jitsu and I feel like I cope with that a lot. It helps me have more confidence. I feel like since I have been self-developing on my own, I feel like I'm around more people that are more loving, maybe a little bit more successful, and just happy with their lives, And I'm not talking about, fancy cars and big houses and stuff like that. Just people that are really good people and really care about you and really love you. And I feel like that's what we need. And I feel like sometimes we may go through these tough times and these depressions and tears and stuff. But I feel like when you're around people that actually care, really, really care, genuinely care, life becomes just easier. And I feel like that's where I am right now. And my job, I have a job and I'm learning there, and jiu-jitsu and my family. And I feel like I'm just in a better state of mind right now. And I know that I am capable of doing whatever I want if I really want it. So.